Let's talk about why Predator 2 sucks. A predator in a concrete jungle, or just a lost tourist? Predator 2, the 1990 follow-up to the iconic Predator, had the unenviable task of taking an intergalactic big-game hunter from the lush jungles of Central America to the concrete chaos of Los Angeles. The result? A film so bafflingly bad that you'd think the real Predator was the scriptwriter hunting down every good idea and leaving nothing but a trail of confusion and cringe-worthy dialogue. While some might call it a cult classic, let's be honest, Predator 2 is a mishmash of urban cliches, senseless violence, and enough absurdity to make you wish you were watching an infomercial instead. The plot of Predator 2 is as directionless as a drunkard in a maze, beginning with a gang war in Los Angeles, and somehow morphing into a tale of an alien hunter who's less terrifying than a particularly aggressive tourist. The film opens with the city in chaos, a violent turf war between Jamaican and Colombian drug cartels. Enter Lieutenant Mike Harrigan, played by Danny Glover, who seems more annoyed by the heat wave than the escalating body count. Harrigan is dragged into a convoluted investigation when the Predator, having apparently grown bored of tropical vacations, decides to hunt in LA. This leads to a series of increasingly absurd confrontations between Harrigan and the Predator, culminating in a showdown that involves more inexplicable decisions and poor planning than a high school group project gone wrong. The plot lurches from one improbable scenario to the next, with the coherence of a madman's fever dream, leaving you wondering if the filmmakers actually knew what they were doing, or just really liked explosions. By the end of the movie, you're less concerned with who will survive, and more curious about how many more ridiculous plot twists and nonsensical moments the writers can cram into a single film. The story's attempt to combine sci-fi horror with urban crime drama results in a jarring mix of genres that feels less like a cohesive narrative, and more like a particularly bizarre episode of Cops. Danny Glover's Lieutenant Mike Harrigan is a grizzled, no-nonsense cop who's supposed to be the film's tough-as-nails hero. Unfortunately, he spends most of the film looking like he's just realized he left his badge at home and can't remember where he parked his car. His portrayal of Harrigan as a man constantly on the edge of a nervous breakdown might be compelling if it didn't feel so forced, making you wonder if he's actually trying to save the city or just really needs a vacation. The supporting cast is a collection of stereotypes and cliches, including Bill Paxton's Jerry Lambert, a wisecracking rookie who's more interested in making bad jokes than doing any actual police work. Maria Conchita Alonso's Leona Cantrell is the obligatory tough female cop who spends most of her screen time either rolling her eyes at Harrigan or getting caught in the Predator's crosshairs. Even the film's depiction of the drug cartels is laughably over the top, with characters who seem more interested in hamming it up for the camera than in any real criminal enterprise. The Predator itself is supposed to be a menacing intergalactic hunter, but it often comes off as more confused than terrifying, stumbling through the city with all the grace of a lost tourist who can't find the nearest Starbucks. Its decision to hunt in Los Angeles, of all places, makes you question if it's actually a fearsome warrior or just really bad at picking vacation spots. The dialogue in Predator 2 is a masterclass in cringe-worthy one-liners and awkward exposition, with lines that sound like they were lifted straight from a rejected action movie parody. Harrigan's constant stream of tough guy quips might be amusing if they didn't feel so forced, making you wonder if he's actually trying to intimidate the Predator or just really into bad puns. The film's attempts at serious dialogue are equally painful, with characters delivering lines with all the enthusiasm of someone reading a phone book. The exchanges between Harrigan and his colleagues are filled with awkward pauses and forced camaraderie, making you question if they're actually a team of elite cops or just a group of people who happen to show up on set that day. Even the Predator's interactions with its prey are laughably cliched, with the alien hunter delivering lines in a guttural growl that makes you wonder if it's actually trying to communicate or just really bad at conversation. The film's attempts at dramatic dialogue are so heavy-handed that you'll be left questioning if the writers were aiming for a serious sci-fi thriller or just really bad at subtlety. The action sequences in Predator 2. They're a dizzying blend of chaotic choreography and cartoonish violence that make you feel like you're watching a particularly violent episode of Looney Tunes. The film's various battles and chases are filled with improbable stunts and ridiculous set pieces, turning everyday objects into weapons in a way that's more confusing than cool. The infamous rooftop chase scene where Harrigan pursues the Predator across the city skyline is supposed to be a thrilling spectacle. Instead, it feels more like a poorly rendered video game level where the objective is to cause as much chaos as possible without actually making any sense. The film's reliance on improbable stunts and physics-defying action makes the stakes feel so low that you'll be left wondering if they're fighting for the fate of the city or just really into showing off. The final showdown in the Predator's spaceship is a mess of flashing lights and digital effects that looks more like a particularly trippy screensaver than an epic battle between good and evil. The fight scenes are so filled with random explosions and improbable gadgetry that you'll be left questioning if the characters are actually fighting or just really into blowing things up for fun. Now let's talk about the special effects. The special effects in Predator 2 are a mix of impressive visuals and laughably bad CGI that looks like it was thrown together by a team of animators who got lost in the jungle and had to finish their work on a deadline. The film's various depictions of futuristic technology and alien weaponry are filled with flashy effects that are meant to wow the audience but often come off as a distraction from the film's flimsy plot and wooden acting. The CGI is particularly jarring in the scenes involving the Predator's cloaking device, which looks more like a rejected effect from a low-budget sci-fi movie than a fearsome piece of alien technology. The film's reliance on special effects to tell its story often feels like a crutch, with the flashy visuals doing little to mask the film's many narrative shortcomings. Predator 2 is a baffling parade of logical inconsistencies and plot holes that make you wonder if anyone involved in the production actually read the script. The idea that an alien hunter would choose to hunt in Los Angeles, a city filled with more cameras and surveillance than a Big Brother marathon, is absurd enough, but the film's internal logic is so inconsistent that you'll be left questioning if the Predator is actually hunting or just really bad at picking vacation spots. The logistics of Harrigan's journey are equally laughable. How does he manage to navigate a series of increasingly improbable scenarios without so much as a plan or a clue? Why does everyone he meets either instantly fall in love with him or immediately try to kill him? And how is it that he manages to confront an intergalactic hunter armed with advanced weaponry using nothing more than a few improvised gadgets and a bad attitude? The film's resolution is equally perplexing. The final battle with the Predator wraps up in a way that's both predictable and unsatisfying, leaving you wondering if the whole movie was just an elaborate setup for a particularly flashy fireworks display. The film's lack of any clear message or theme makes it feel more like a collection of random events than a cohesive story, leading to a conclusion that's as baffling as it is abrupt. In conclusion, Predator 2 is a film that's more entertaining for its unintentional humor and over-the-top action than for any actual storytelling or character development. Its plot is a sprawling saga of silly setups and preposterous payoffs. Its characters are caricatures of competence, and its dialogue is a script full of groan-worthy quips and awkward exposition. The special effects are a flashy mix of impressive visuals and laughably bad CGI, and the film's logical inconsistencies are so glaring that you'll be left questioning if anyone involved actually took the material seriously. So, if you're in the mood for a good laugh at a movie that takes itself way too seriously and delivers a wild ride through a bizarre urban adventure, grab some popcorn, sit back, and enjoy the absurdity that is Predator 2. Just don't expect to be terrified, thrilled, or even mildly entertained by anything other than the sheer ridiculousness of it all. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Quirky Critic signing out.